Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and welcome to The Fool's Apprentice. So, today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you have seen in my walkthroughs in the past, or when I'm talking about cards in general, there are two cards in the tarot that I tend to kind of grumble about when artists' imaginations really don't influence these two cards as much as they do the others. Those two cards are the Eight of Wands and the Three of Hearts. The Three Hearts, we get a heart with three swords in it. Yeah. Okay, what else can you add to it? The Eight of Wands, eight wands flying through the side. I'm like, okay. So I was thinking about this past week on, actually it was because I ended up, I do my daily pulls, and the Eight of Wands came up with the Eight of Swords, which was very interesting. And I was just looking at the Eight of Wands going, God, can't people just add a little bit more imagination? And then I was thinking, there are cards that I have seen in the Eight of Wands that I've liked. So what did I do? I said, you know what? Let's go see which cards those are. So I went through all my tarot cards and I found all the Eight of Wands. Well, that's not true. I ended up picking my favorite Eight of Wands. I just thought that would be fun. Do Eight of Wands. And so I found them. I actually had maybe 3 or 4 more that I really liked, but these were the ones that really stood out and made me feel something. And that's when I really like a card, when it really, really gets me going emotionally, psychologically, gets my mind running, gets me really critically thinking. Those are really, really good cards. So these 8 cards did that for me. They're very different. They're exciting to look at. And I can finally stop complaining about the Eight of Wands. Well, probably not really. But these 8s didn't have me complaining. So let me flip the camera over and we'll get started. And I am back. So, Eight of Wands. They're all very different. And I find them very exciting. So, the first one comes from the Heartscape Tarot. I really like this deck. Believe it or not, I've had this deck for several months, and I have yet to use this deck, but maybe one time. But I really, really love this image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read what the guidebook says. I got the PDF on this one. So this one says, now that the need for defense of the Seven of Wands has dissipated, a new unexpected energy emerges. Its flow is volatile, yet welcoming. The Eight of Wands is a card of great haste, animation with enthusiasm. It's highly advised that you take the opportunity and join its trajectory. And isn't this just a beautiful card? Look at that. I love it. This card, it's just like this force that you feel that's coming is so large, so vast. And you just innately know that this is a very powerful force coming into our world, into our space, and it's going to have a major impact. You could see the symmetry of it. Nature is amazing to me. And I just like how this is just blazing into our space. And it's telling us just to take a moment and take this in and pause. I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful image. It's just a brand new take. It really shows, how small we can be with the type of energy that's coming up in this card. I mean, these clouds are moved out of the way so that this can come in and the stars are above. And I don't know, this kind of gives me a sense of something bigger than what's here on earth that can happen in our world, and to really just be mindful of that energy when it comes up, even though you may not know where it's from. But I really, really love this card. It's just a very, very different, unique take that I get from this card. This card, again, is from the Heartscape Tarot. All the cards in this deck are just beautiful and unique. I love that. Now, an interesting one that's very different from all the others, it comes from the Somnia Tarot. Like, this is a really, really interesting Eight of Wands. And when I first ended up sitting with this card, I had to sit with it for a while to kind of get an idea of, like, because I didn't read the guidebook first. I actually like to sit with the cards and kind of get my own feel for this. And I really struggled with this one. I do get the sense of movement, which is coming from the angle. And we know if something is swinging, that's what's happening. You get a sense of movement with the fire, the flame as it's wicking. So you can tell that the chandelier is coming back to the right. And so in reading so it came with a little guidebook. This guidebook really doesn't do very much for me. So I ended up getting the larger one, which is really, really good. And you get a whole page. Isn't that beautiful? So here it says a formal engagement is interrupted by an unseen force which sends an ornate chandelier into a frenzy. Wax and soot are strewn from 8 smoldering candles. The overhead chaos catches the dining guest's attention. This uncanny performance of spiritual activity impedes the current ambiance and commands attention from all in observance. The supernatural display of motion warns about the severity of taking swift action, whether in business, love, or family matters. The Eight of Wands plays on the theme of unexpectable activities, unexplainable activities that may influence action, especially in the realm of superstition and paranormal. I love that. I love that this has this new space of the superstition and paranormal. And it's like, for example, for me, it's like not running from the unknown and fear, especially when it comes up unexpectedly. It's like being in your house at 2:00 in the morning and you hear rustling and you freak out. And so, you end up making a decision that you end up regretting later. And I love that it really talks about taking swift actions or not taking swift action regarding business, love, or family matters, because those areas really draw up a lot of emotional feelings that can cause us to make decisions that we haven't necessarily thought out. And this card for me tells me what I need to do is when something suddenly happens, I need to be very still and not react in a manner that is impulsive. And so I think that's really, really interesting. It's just a really interesting depiction of the Eight of Wands. Very unique. Love it. And okay, this one is from the Darkness of Light Tarot. I really, really like this image quite a bit. I like the color tones. I like that you're actually seeing a person that is shooting one of the wands, because we get that feel that the wands are actually thrown in the air, and not necessarily but by one person, but many, many people. And so the Darkness of Light, it states in the guidebook, the Eight of Wands depicts a nude male shooting an arrow from a bow. He has a branch next to him and 7 others floating above his head, forming the shape of a halo. Should he need the ammunition, they are available to him when he is ready. These symbolize the idea of communication through efficiency. The river in which he stands represents the flow of time, and he shoots an arrow from the left to the right, demonstrating the path forward in time. The archer invokes a facet of the Greek god Hermes, messenger to the gods and ruler of the athletes. Beautiful, beautifully said. And so I like the idea that this really is like restraint of tongue and pen, kind of that idea of not necessarily responding to what someone says or does to you verbally, but really think things through. And then when you do, make a clear, concise, curt statement. Maybe not necessarily curt, because that could be rude, but just being very measured in what it is that you're going to say. And knowing that you have everything you need intellectually, verbally, to convey what it is that you want to say very, very quickly. I like that this is a very intellectual card. I think it's really cool, and I love the fact that there's a sense of power in this and vulnerability. We have a man who's standing naked, and so really one of the things is that if you end up saying or doing something that you can regret, you basically you'll end up showing your ass, and you don't really want to. But here he's standing very confident in who he is and what he's capable of doing. And I don't know. I just think this is a beautiful, beautiful card. And I think the tones really give it a nice feel as well. This is a great, great Eight of Wands. Love it. Next, we got the Lumbanco. This is another one that I really like. Look at this. Very agile, very this is a person that has been through it. Look at his face. He has scars on his face, on his chest. He's contorted and just really willing and able to do whatever he needs as quickly as possible. You get the sense of movement with all those swirls around. It's really, really well done. Very beautiful. And so the booklet says, being fast to adapt, take action, and readjust one's course. A sly way of being versatile and resilient. Shrewdness in the line of fire. Being quick on one's feet. Sometimes a feeling of being empowered by high pressure situations. And this one for me, compared to the Eight of Wands, really feels more physical, more visceral, very grounded. Like this is somebody who doesn't mind getting into a fist fight and doing whatever he needs to do to win. And to do it very quickly and methodically. It's the kind of person, like if there was a fist fight, they'd go for the neck very quick, or they'd hit you right in the lung to draw your arrow out so you crumble to the ground very quickly instead of trying to get into this very, very long fight. And this card, has this great sense of movement that requires you to get your hands dirty, I feel. So, and what I find very fascinating with all of these so far is that I think that these are examples right off the bat, and I'll bring some other ones out. Shows me that, deck choices with readings are very important because, there are choices. These deck choices can really have an impact on what the cards say. I still have to figure out this light. It's driving me crazy. So one thing I haven't been able to figure out very well as of yet. But, okay. Who knew I'd be so excited about the Eight of Wands? Jeez. Okay. So let's go with, one of my favorite decks, the Bohman Gothic Tarot. I'm not reading the big book, but look at this. I love this depiction. So another one that's very unique. One of the things that I like about this particular card is the force that it is bringing. Our eight wands are actually going in the opposite direction of what we're accustomed to, which allows us to look at the left landscape of a card. And here you're seeing the ramifications of, I don't know, maybe pissing somebody off, uh, truly understanding the force that's being leashed at them. I just think it's a really, really, really good depiction of what can happen to you if you are ever faced with the Eight of Wands coming in your direction, what that could feel like and look like for somebody. And this could also represent someone not taking action fast enough to get out of the way and not get hurt. So another very different feel. I think this card is ingenious in the way it uses space, how it flips the images to come from the right to the left, that it uses gargoyles or demons instead of actual wands or spears. I think this is really, really well done. The use of color to give you that sense of ominous, really, really well done. This guy, this beast is petrified. I love it. And so what does it say? Oh, okay. I got to read what it says. I forgot to do that. Okay. The Eight of Wands. Everything happens at once, both threads and opportunities, speed, rush, even moving quickly. Events move swiftly to a conclusion. That's the first one that I've noticed, that the Eight of Wands can create an ending just in itself, creates a conclusion. And it looks like it's not going to be a very good one. All right. Oh, okay. This one was a surprise for me. The Nicoletta CI Tarot. I love this image. Look at that. Isn't that just stunning? Creepy, but stunning. So let's see what it says. The Eight of Wands. Messages of light and hope are coming to you from many sources. Pay attention or you may miss them. Be prepared to take swift action. And this really talks about taking your opportunities when they arise. And for me, it's really paying attention to that intuition that tells you, hold on, wait a minute, not yet, not yet, now. It's like trying to catch a firefly. You just can't necessarily go up and catch it. You actually have to softly move, go slowly, and when you're about to catch it, acting very, very quickly so you can get that firefly in the jar. And I get that sense here of restraint that you need to have, but then taking the action that you need when it's time. Very, very beautiful card. All right, two more, guys. The Light Seers Tarot. I don't know if y'all are be surprised that I actually like this one or not, because it is wands. It's just wands, right? But what makes this card very exciting for me is the perspective. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, what is it called? Oak, ash, and thorn, right? Yep. Oak, ash, and thorn has something similar in theirs, with the wands in the sky going towards the sun, I think it is. I hope I'm right. So let's see what it says. It says, action. You know those moments in life that feel like a sprint? This type of speedy energy is at play. It's inspirational, it's fiery, it's positive, and it's now. If you have a gut feeling that needs to be acted upon, listen to it. With all this movement, avoid being swept along by an unpredictable tide by having clarity about your desires and direction. Harness this beautiful window of swift opportunity. I love that. And the colors, you know me and colors, right? The colors just give you that feeling of something exciting about to happen or is happening. and the movement and the sparks. It's just, look at that. There's fire right at the tips, showing you that its trajectory is forward. You know what? It feels like when Star Trek, the Enterprise takes off into warp speed. This is that moment where warp speed happens, and you have to take action. And I love that feel of this deck. This is really one of the prettiest, even though we got all these beautiful images, this is one of the prettiest Eight of Wands that I have. I just find it very, very interesting. Um, and it almost sometimes, like if you were standing looking up, it feels like you're in a cage almost. Um, but this is a really, really good one that draws a lot of excitement. So like if I drew this card, something exciting is happening. There's a burst of energy here compared to this one. This one's requiring you to be still and think and be mindful that you're going to have to act quickly. Here, things are happening very quickly. Very, very cool. And finally, number 8, another Baba Studios, the Victorian Romantic. I love, love, love this Eight of Wands. Look at that. That is another one that I think is very, very interesting. It says, things are finally within your grasp. Opportunities and events almost too many. Energy, buzz, action, travel, movement, falling passionately and suddenly for someone, reaching a thrilling conclusion. Another one that has a conclusion. So this feels, one, there is a decision that for me, has been made in this one, and you are going all in. Like you're all in, no matter what is going to happen. You have found your moment to pounce. That is what I really love about this. And this is done wholeheartedly. You're not holding, there is no trepidation in this. There is no hesitation. There is no procrastination. This is like having to run down a hill, and you know that you have to run fast not to fall, or speeding up when you're taking a curve in a car so that your tires can get a better grip on the ground. Because if you don't and you try to slow down, you can actually end up sliding. I love this. Very, very powerful, very different feeling. This feels very aggressive to me compared to some of the other cards. And so let me see if I can zoom out and I can get some more cards in so we can kind of compare and contrast some. All right, let's see. Okay, that's the best I can do. So if we look at these, you will see that they are very, very different in the way they feel. Some are very exciting, lighthearted, playful, like something great is going to happen, it seems like here. Like, that moment, like when you're playing poker and you're going to go all in, and you're going to win because you got the best hand, and you're waiting, to make the bet, and you don't want to go, you want to draw them in to call you. That feels great. Here, there's a great sense of refinement and calm, and you need to just like be in the moment and just wait for the right time to say something. Love that. These have very similar feelings for me. Very similar. This one feels like a lot more brute strength, while this one is very, I don't know, you have to use, how would I describe this one? He feels very gruff, like somebody who has always had to fight really hard to get what they need. While this guy is like, he's had it and he's going to end up taking some more. Very, very different feelings for me. I gotta say, of all the ones, I think this one is the most unique by far. and the way it depicts the energy of the Eight of Wands. Um, it's this sense of startlement that can occur that requires you to stay still. It's like, it's like one of those horror movies and you're hiding from the killer and the killer bursts into the room and you got to stay quiet and not react and scream. And you got to, stay very grounded, have your hands over your mouth. And then when they disappear, react very quickly and escape. That's what this feels like to me. All right, guys, let me turn the camera over and I will have some parting words. Okay, I'm back. So the Eight of Wands, there are some beautiful Eight of Wands out there. I don't even know if you can post the Eight of Wands I don't think you can post pictures. I think you can only respond with chat. But, before the Eight of Wands really just for me meant taking swift action or being very mindful of when to take swift action or when not to take swift action. But as I've thought about this video and the Eight of Wands before I started reading everything, I really started thinking about a bigger picture of the Eight of Wands for me. So when I look at the traditional Eight of Wands with them flying from left to right coming down, and I look and I imagine what's going on in my left, I see 8 different people at a minimum, being aggressive, assertive, or whatever you want to call it, throwing these Eight of Wands to the right at something. There is something out there that these Eight of Wands are going towards. And so I see a lot of strategy in that. I see a lot of uniformity in that. I see cunning. I see intelligence in that. But I also see the same thing on the other side. If you're the one that's getting these Eight of Wands, there has to be a sense of bravery, a sense of keeping grounded, making sure that you make the right decisions so you don't get hit. There's a great sense of intelligence in that as well, and knowing what you need to do to counter. And so it really was very interesting to start thinking about the Eight of Wands other than just what I see on the card and the definitions that I got. I mean, as you saw, we went with intellect, which I thought was really, really cool. Talk about excitement and play. This feels very playful to me, like kids on a playground, playing hide and go seek or tag or rover. What is it called? Rover, Red Rover. Let Benny come over. Oh my God. But that's what I get from this card. This feels like very masculine, very powerful, like somebody making an executive decision in a boardroom or on the combat field. I mean, really, really, really great card. Somebody playing chess, needing to win. Here, like this one really, really blew my mind on not reacting to things that happen suddenly, really staying still. And I think this one's really, really hard. Like if someone breaks your door down, how do you stay grounded and respond compared to react? That one is what brings that in. So I love this. This guy, I'm trying to think of a character who would fit this guy. There's a show called Call Me Sal, I think, where that attorney, he'll do anything to win. That's what this feels like. Someone who's willing to do anything to win. Yeah. So this was really fun for me. Okay. I'd actually like to hear your thoughts. What did you think about these cards? What did you think? Like, did your idea of the Eight of Wands change? Do you have a different definition? Do you have a different understanding? Did this feel like, Benny, that was crap. I don't get what you're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. I really want to know what you think. Anyway, until next time, my name is Benny. I'm the Fool's Apprentice. Have a great day. And until next time, something. Bye.